Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us at the Microsoft Power BI UK user group. I'm your host Leon Gordon, and we're here for another fantastic, insightful session to learn more about Power BI from Power BI experts. This is going to be our final session of 2021, so thank you to everybody that's joined us throughout the year and ongoing, and we look forward to seeing you next year as well. But without any further ado, you do understand that we run these events as live events, so we want this to be as interactive as possible, and the Q&A is open, so please do let us know where you're joining us from. In today's session, we have Fowmy joining us. So Fowmy Abdulmuttalib is from Saudi Arabia, and he's the founder of ExcelFort Consulting and Training. He is a Microsoft certified data analyst, Power BI SuperUser, and an experienced finance professional with skills in business analytics and financial reporting. And in today's session, we're going to look at user-friendly in-page navigation. So without any further ado, I will pass you over to Fowmy.
Hi, thank you, Gordon. Thank you very much for the introduction and the opportunity. So let me get my slide running. And good, I'm not sure your audience may be from different parts of the world. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. Thank you for joining today. Yes, already Gordon gave introduction about myself, so let me just add something to it. I actually started my career in finance and switched to resource planning, basically ERP and business intelligence about 5 years back. Started with Microsoft Excel, then went on to use Power BI in the organization, and have got lots of experience on Power BI. And I enjoy working with Power BI and delivering solutions for the company, as well as for my consulting and training projects. So in today's session, I'm going to focus on creating in-page navigation when you develop reports in Power BI. We know that it's a very important topic. Whatever hard work you put on creating models, calculations, it's the end user who is going to use your product. So it's very important to pay attention how easy, how convenient it is for your end users to use. Right, without further ado, let me start with my demonstration. It's going to be a demo-rich session today. Let's get started then. So I'm going to use this simple data model and the Power BI file throughout this session today. So let me just give you a small introduction about what this file is. Basically, it's made out of the data set that comes with Power BI Desktop. If you want to see the data set, you can, of course, go to help. On the help, you will find the sample data set that you can use. The sample data set. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. Let me take you through. It has by segment, country, sale of products with the sales price and the cost, profit, and so on a monthly level. So it comes with 700 rows. I just doubled it, made some minor changes to suit for this project. So nothing much. Let's go back to, it's a single file, as you can see. Let's go back to the dashboard, the report that I have built here. So what you are looking at is a simple analysis. I just made this mainly for the purpose of showing how we can create in-page navigation, not so much on the type of analysis we do here. So I have got the title, the KPIs at the top, then some filters and slices, right? Then I am breaking down the sales and profit by segment and product. Down I've got the trend analysis by month and the cumulative. On the right side, you see a correlation with scatter plot with sales and profit, right? Nothing much. So the important thing here is, like, first we need to look at the layout. Layout of any Power BI report, for example, any design is a key, right? With layout, with the correct layout, you can make sure you can deliver a good usable report to your users. When we build reports, we mainly focus on choosing the right visuals, formatting, and so on. But you also have to make sure you are creating a proper layout for the user to navigate and understand different blocks of your visual groups, right? For that purpose, it's very important you need to have the right layout helping the users, right? If you look at this report, as you can see, at the top we have a block that shows the title and the key performance indicators, I would say. Then we have another layer that has the slices, the filters. Then we have the information section over here down. And again, be broken down into 3 parts, right? And we have the trend analysis at the bottom. We have 2 comparisons analysis, and on the right we have the scatter chart, right? So this way, when you have a layout, a structure, it shows the user easy for him to navigate and see how to compare results between different visual components, right? How do you create layouts, right? There are 2 ways you can create layouts. One is by inserting shapes. The other one is by adding an image as a background. So let's see the advantage and disadvantages of adding these, using these 2 methods. So if you want to add a visual if you want to add a shape, you can just go to insert shape. This way you'll be able to add your background. I don't recommend this. I'll just come back to the reasons why I don't recommend this. So Phil, let's take a color, lighter color, and send back. Right. And let's make a copy of this and edit for. I'm just giving you an example of how it could be done using shapes, right? We need to send it back. So this way you'll be able to add shapes and make sure you are giving a proper layer, right? This is one way of building a layout for your reports. But the problem with this method is that it's very difficult for you to manage and work with other visuals when you have shapes in the background, right? When you click, it may come up. It'll be messy for you to work. Not only that, shapes will slow down your performance, slow down the performance of your report, as it adds different duration of timing for loading and projecting this on the canvas. So I'll just show you on another page what happens exactly when you add visuals. Sorry, when you add shapes, right? I'm on a new page. Let me add. Let me just copy and paste a visual over here from my first page. Yeah, I have a visual. So as you know, you would have used the performance analyzer to monitor the performance of your report. Now, when I run this, refresh, it shows that this particular visual takes 142 milliseconds. You can break it down and see the DAX query, how much time does it take, the visual display to project it, and the other time. This is for the waiting time in the queue for other processes to complete. Now, if I add a shape over here, let me clear this. If I add a shape over here, let's make copies of this. Right, I've got a couple of shapes. If you are trying to create layout using different shapes, let's see what happens to your performance. When you start, click refresh, you see each shape that you have on your canvas generate some amount of duration in milliseconds. But if you have a bigger project with many pages, you may have a lot of shapes. So you will run into this issue of performance. So I would recommend not to go for inserting shapes. So it's better to insert a background. So let's see how we can insert a background. I normally use PowerPoint to create my backgrounds. Let's see what I have created for this particular project. Let me bring my. This is a PowerPoint file where I have a slide. I've got shapes, just 3 shapes, and a logo just to show, just to highlight the logo of the business, for example. If you have, you can insert it, whatever it is. Maybe it could be an icon, an image. So I've just created this nice layout. And once you have inserted and created, you can select all and right click and save as picture. So this will be saved as a PNG. PNG is always very low in size. Once we save it, what we do is we can use it as a background in our Power BI file. Let's go back to our file here. Let me clear this. Yeah, now I'm on this page. If I want to add the background image, you need to go to the page section over here. Then under canvas background, you can click browse. And this is the image I have. So once you insert it, you wouldn't see. You need to change the scale of the image to fit. Now you see the background is added as an image, right? Let's run the analyze performance analyzer and see what happens. See if it takes any time out of this. What you see is just the visual. You don't lose any time on the background image that you added. So it's the best practice to develop a background image and edit as your layout. Great. Let's stop this and go back to the first page so I can get rid of the shapes that I added. Now let me add the same image that was created right for this particular page. Let me change it to fit. Now you see it's giving you a clear indication of where things are, right? So this is the first point I just wanted to discuss, adding a layout and a background. Next, we'll have a look at the report and see how we can enhance the report with usability and user experience. Okay, looking at this report, you see I have got 2 charts over here, right? They are the same basically. It's a trend chart by month. One is showing individual month, the other one is showing the cumulative. But when you build reports, you need to make sure you give the user only what is required, what is useful at a certain view. So you can only include the visuals that the user is supposed to see. So you can give him an option to switch between whatever visual that he wants to see, right? For example, in this case, we can either allow him to see only the month or the cumulative, not both visuals at the same time. So this way, what happens is you are reducing the clutter on your Power BI report and giving the user very less visuals to work with. If you have too many visuals on the page, and users might get confused, right? So it's better to restrict the number of visuals. In this case, I'll also add one more point. By reducing the visuals, you will also reduce the performance of your report. As you may know, every visual on your canvas sends a query to your Vertipack engine actually generates a query, right? So it takes some time. So always try to give whatever number of visuals that is required. Okay, let me highlight that. So currently I have this page. Let me add this visual. Okay, let it be here. Let me run we already run the performance analyzer. It was showing just one visual over here. I'll make a copy of the same. Right, I have two visuals, right? So since I'm showing two visuals, if I start refreshing, I see, let me clear the past records, refresh it, I see two visuals and they are sending queries, right? So if I go and turn on the selection pane and hide one of the visuals, let me clear, stop, and run again, you see it doesn't generate any queries. So the visuals generate queries only when they are exposed to the user or exposed by the user, right? So it's, you can use this, handle it carefully, and get only the visuals on your canvas to save a lot of time in terms of performance, right? So let's go back to the first page. So what we are going to do is we are going to create bookmarks and toggle the visibility of both of these charts over here, right? And not only that, we can also show, for example, if you hide the cumulative chart, we have space. Already this is cluttered. As you can see, you are looking at just one year. Let's say you have more number of points, then you'll have to scroll right and left. Sorry, so it's not a good visual to be shown in this way, where users have to scroll the visual. So to restrict this, what you can do, you can expand this visual, right? Now you get a clear view, right? We can show one visual at a time this way. So to do this, we can create bookmarks and let the user toggle between month or cumulative, whichever he wants to see. Not only that, now if the user wants to see something related to the monthly sales, I can just highlight it on the right. For example, we can add a smart narrative and give some insights about the sales trend by month. So let's do that. So before we are going to do that, I just want to tell you, creating bookmarks is a great feature in Power BI, along with the selection pane and newly introduced Bookmark Navigator. So before we move on to this creating bookmarks, let's have a look at the selection pane. Right, selection pane is your friend. When it comes to building Power BI reports, it's very important you understand very well how the selection pane works. Right, so let me go to a new page over here. Currently, I have two visuals on my canvas, right? So selection pane will allow you to hide or unhide visuals on your page. That's one function that you need for creating bookmarks, right? You can hide or unhide all the visuals at the same time using the show hide buttons over here. You can drag and drop and change the location, the overlaying of it. The order in which it is layered is very important. For example, now this visual is overlaying it, but if I put it up on top of it, it's coming on top of the other. So it's very important to understand the layering when you have the selection pane. And you can see the name here is coming from the title of the visual. If you change this, for example, let's say segment, right? The title gets changed. If you go to the visual and change the title from the properties, you will get your name changed here. So it's one way it's easy for you to change the title through the selection pane as well. And when you have a lot of visuals over here, you can even group them together, right? Let me create a copies of this. Right, so I have, let's call it, okay, V1 and V2, for example. So if I want to group these visuals, you can just select them using Control or Shift, and can press Control G as a shortcut, or right click and group them. Now these two visuals are grouped together, so you can move it as a unit, right? So you can resize them, the visuals, sorry. You can resize them as a single unit so that, let me click once to select it. See, you can resize them as a single unit so it gets adjusted dynamically, right? This is a, so you can also use now this to make the visibility, right? Turn on or off. You can turn it on, turn it off, which is very useful when you create bookmarks later. And you can name this group, right? Whatever you want. Let's say charts. Charts 1, for example. So we have a separate group over here. Now, other two can be group as well. I press Ctrl G to group, so it's a different group. Okay. Now, if you select two groups together and group it, it will nest. Now you have group 3. So already you have group 1 and chart 1 as two different groups. They are nested under this particular group. So why I always use grouping in my report building is that it's very convenient and easy to maintain and build reports. Any changes in future can easily be incorporated. So this is very important. Let's switch to the one more thing, like if you have, say, for example, if you want to move one element, one object to the other, you can just drag and drop it. It's very easy. Right now, let's look at the tab. Sorry. Okay. On the selection pane, you have another tab that shows tab order, right? Here it will show you how the tab works. For example, if I press tab, it goes in an order that is already given in this list. If you want to rearrange, let me ungroup this. You can press Control Shift and G. So we have 4 visuals. If you press tab, it goes in not in an order. So if you want to arrange your tab order in the way you have placed your visuals, you can simply click this button over here. Right now it will go from left to right, top to bottom. And what these two buttons are basically, if you have grouped your visuals, let me group it, right, and go to your tab order. Now it will collapse and expand these groups. You can see how it has numbered. The tab order is starting from 1, 2, 3, but under 1 you will get 1.1 and 1.2, just to indicate the order works in that manner. So this is about the tab order. Now, how we can use this in our in-page navigation projects, let's have a look at it now. Okay, before we start creating, we need to group our visuals, right? Like it's a good practice to group them. Never apply bookmark on visuals. Make sure you always create groups. Under groups, you can include your visuals, then create the bookmark on the groups. So now I have 2 visuals. These 2 visuals can be grouped as, let's group them together. I can rename it as, let's say, trend. So similarly, I have some objects over here, some visuals. I mark them. Let's right click and group. Okay, we can call this as header, right? Then I have some over here. I can right click group and name it as, say, filters. I can organize them, and others over here we can group them as other, for example. Let me reduce the size of this, as we are going to use the lower part for our project. Okay, so now these three visuals are here. I can group them into a different bucket. Let's call it for the time being, right? Whenever you group, it automatically jumps to the top, so you can bring it down, right? So we are going to work with these two visuals. So what I want to do is I want to create a bookmark just to toggle the visibility of this monthly and cumulative visuals. For that, we need to create a bookmarks. So let me turn on the bookmarks pane. Okay, bookmarks basically help you take a snapshot of your reports, the objects on your canvas, and save it. So you can call the bookmarks just to make it visible. So in this case, what I can do, let me just take you through. When you create a bookmark, you just click add. It's named as bookmark 1, but there are many options over here. These options are very important to understand. So right now what it has done, it has taken a snapshot of everything on your canvas, right? So let's see what it has done. So these are like, if you make changes, you can update over here. Then this is the rename, to rename it, and delete simple, and group. Like we grouped objects on the canvas, you can also group bookmarks, right? So these are the important options. Data, basically, by default, it is ticked. That means when you record a bookmark, it takes the filters applied onto your canvas. Right now, I didn't choose any country, for example, right? If I choose Germany, right? Right now you're looking at Germany, but if you go and click on your bookmark, it reverts back to all. That was the status then when I was recording the bookmark. So you need to decide whether you need the data to be saved, anything coming from the model, or you don't need it. That's your call. So then display basically means like, say for example, now I have, let's take this visual. Let me put spotlight and now update. Right, so now let me go back and click on this. So that is saved, right? If I don't tick that, if I don't tick on display, that spotlight will not be captured. So that is about the display. Not only that, you will have the filter pane even. Remember, when you have the filter pane on, so whatever filters you apply, for example, if you apply any filter over here on the filter pane, that is also going to be captured, right? So that's because these options are on together with all visuals. Now in all visuals, it's going to capture everything, not only the selected ones. So all visuals basically captures whatever you have on your canvas. But the other option where you have selected visuals, this is what we mostly use, but there are very few cases where you need to use all visuals. So selected visuals in the sense like if you want to record the bookmark only on a certain selected objects or visuals, maybe groups or visuals itself, you can like right click and change it to selected visuals, and only those visuals will be affected. So these are the options that you have for bookmarks. So you will understand more when I apply them in my page in page navigation thing. Now, our idea is to create an in-page navigation here. First, we need to record a bookmark. And also, let's create a bookmark first that we can use, right? Let me delete this. Sometimes users go and filter your report, right? They will click on different fields and charts, and they will filter it. But if they want to go back to the original state, they have to click on this, clear this filter, and get back to where they were, right? But if we can save that state and save it in a bookmark, and we can call it anytime, right? That's we can call it a report reset filter. Let's see how to create a report filter reset bookmark. So I want everything to be recorded as it is, including the data, right? So let me go and create it. So right now, this is a perfect option setting for my visual. I need the data, I need display, current page. I forgot to mention current page. What happens is when you record a bookmark, the current page, the page where this is recorded, is saved. So when you call this particular bookmark, it will come to this particular page and execute whatever is saved. So if you untick that, what happens is it doesn't come and performs whatever is listed. You can execute it even from another page. That's because bookmarks are global to your file. Even if you go to another page, you don't see the objects from the other page here. These are objects, visuals related to this particular page, but the bookmark I created in page 1. If I click on this one, as you can see, it jumps to the page where it was created. Now, if I untick and update it, right? Now, let's say I choose some filters. I have applied some filters. I'm not in that page. I have also, if you see, taken out the current page. If I select on that, I expect the report to be cleared and brought it back to the original state. As you can see, there is no filters as I applied, right? So let's create this as current page. These options are correct, and update it. You can double click and rename it as reset. And this can be assigned to a button. Let's go and insert a button first. With an icon of reset. Yeah, this is fine. To assign a bookmark to a button, you can go to the formatting tab. Under button action, turn it on. You have many options. So we are going to choose bookmark over here. And which bookmark? The reset bookmark, right? So this way, now when you apply any filter, user is trying to get some analysis out of it. Now, if he goes and click on reset, it takes it back to the original state. That's the purpose of this bookmark. Gordon, if there is any question, we can answer. That is simple and easy.
No problem at all, Fowmy. We do have a question around how to manage bookmarks. It might be something for the end of the session to go into a bit more detail, but totally up to you.
Yeah, okay. Managing bookmarks is basically you can group them. And you can name them so that it relates to a particular page. For example, if I have a bookmark that is related to this page 1, maybe this page 1 name is, let's say, sales overview. You can rename this bookmark in such a way that people can understand this relates to this particular page. And also you can group all related bookmarks together as a group. This is what I can suggest as of now.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Fowmy.
Okay, good, great. Let's carry on. Now let's go and create the bookmark that we need, right? Okay, now here I have I can get some real estate over here, right? Okay, I need bookmarks and this one. So now I'm going to create bookmarks to show the cumulative, the monthly, and hide the cumulative. So I have selected the trend group. Now let me hide the cumulative sales, right? I can expand this up to this level. So this way the user can easily see the data within the visual clearly. This is fine. Okay, first you need to select the group. Now add. Let's give it a name. Let's call it monthly. And you need to change the settings, of course. Here, what we don't need to record the data. Why I don't need to record the data for this bookmark is like if the user has applied any filter, I just want the filter to retain, right? I don't want to reset whatever user has selected. So I don't need the data. So display, of course, I need. That's how it works. Current page, yes, this is related to this particular page. I'm not going to call this from anywhere else. And most importantly, selected visuals. I'm not working with any other visuals over here. Only what is selected. I have selected the group, right? Selected. So since my selections are okay, I'll create update. Now, what is next? I'm going to hide the monthly. Extend it. Create another bookmark. Before that, I need to click on trend and add. Let's call it cumulative. Let's change the options as before. Selected visuals, right? I have display, current page, and selected visuals. So let's switch and see if it works. Now looking at monthly, this is current month. Okay. Right. Now, how do you allow the user to switch between these two visuals? Let's say he's looking at this report and he's looking at on a monthly basis. He wants to go and see the cumulative sales, right? Now, you don't want the user to open bookmark and click on cumulative, but we can give him an option. Okay. For this, I created a video about 2-3 months before they introduce Bookmark Navigator. I had to do a lot of work to make it work, right? A lot of buttons and bookmarks. But recently in November, I believe, they introduced Bookmark Navigator. So we are going to use that to switch between under insert button, right? You will find Bookmark Navigator. So what happens is it captures all the bookmarks that are available in your file. So if you click on monthly, you are looking at monthly cumulative. But the problem is I need to get rid of this reset filter. I don't need it. So what I can do, if you go to the format navigator, you will find under visual bookmarks. So currently it's picking all bookmarks, right? There is no option to choose an individual bookmark, for example, monthly or cumulative together now. So that's why it's important now to group bookmarks. Let's control click and select both of them. And you cannot use control G. No, there is no shortcut to. I am not aware of any shortcut. If anybody knows, please let me know. You can right click and group them, right? Let's call it trend. This is related to the trend, right? I have two bookmarks within this. Let me click out of it and go back. Now, if you go back to the bookmarks, and you will see this particular group, right? Now we are looking at only two buttons, which can be used to toggle the monthly and the cumulative. Okay, let's do some minor formatting. So I'm going to bring it down to, let's find a better place to keep it. Now, as I don't want to like reduce the real estate space I have here, I can put it right vertically on this side. So I would like to move this visual a bit, and monthly as well. Remember, when you click on the group first time, as I just need to show this, it's very important. Now, if you click first time, it selects the group. Okay, it selects the group that you have created. When you click the second time, it selects the visual that is inside. So that way you'll find it easy to work with these visuals. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let me try this. Perfect. Now what I want to do, I just want to put this over here. Let me do some minor formatting to this. So under visual, you will find rotation. So let's keep this as -90 and change the layout, grid layout to vertical. Right. And what I can do, I can get rid of, let's change this to rounded tab both top. It will give you a nice button shape. And remove the border. Under style, you will find all these options. So I don't need the border. So different states are there. At different states, you can choose the kind of formatting you want to apply. By default, this is fine, but if it is selected, I want the fill color to be white. That way it will go with my visual background. See, now you are looking at monthly. So if you click cumulative, you are at cumulative. Move it a bit. Now this is by default selection has the font color as well. This is lighter. Let me, the selected one, I believe, yes, selected font color. Let's make it a bit darker. Okay, so now you have it kind of gives you an app-like feeling where this cumulative is currently selected, and this cumulative, and this is monthly. Perfect. Now, one of the other thing I just wanted to do is like add a narrative. Add a narrative to my visual, right? So Power BI gives you an option to insert narrative. It's a great visual that summarizes the insight from any visual that you select or from the whole page. Let me select this particular visual. I'm the month at on the monthly sales, right, and profit visual. You can click on summarize. It's using the algorithm that is built into this, the artificial intelligence onto this. It's generating this text, and whatever insight that captured from this particular visual, right, is generated over here. You can select all by Control A and just format it, right? So this visual is related to this particular particular visual over here on the monthly sales and profit. It will rank whatever is appropriate, the top 3-4 points, whatever it found. So you can also go and do modification on top of this visual. So now I have this. I also need to create one for the cumulative, right? So let's see where it is created. Now it says text box. It's always a good idea, a practice to rename this. Let's go and rename this, say narrative monthly, right? And this is our bookmark for the trend, right? So let's click Bookmark Navigator trend. Now we have trend. I can include it within the trend. This narrative should also be included within the trend, but I said we always need to create bookmarks on groups. So currently I have cumulative, I have monthly, but I don't have a group for that because these are two different groups. Under monthly, I have trend. Under trend, I have monthly. So I need to get monthly and the this visual together and create a group, right? So what we can do, we can just drag it over here. So I have the narrative monthly sales together. We can create group, right? Let me call this monthly. And this is cumulative. So now I have the monthly. Let me switch to cumulative. Okay. So still, this is not included because I need to adjust the bookmark to hide this, right? So this is the monthly. Let me create another one for this particular visual. I can right click and say summarize. So this will be narrative cumulative, right? This I can include under the trend. So I can move this out of this group bookmark, and the narrative cumulative and the cumulative sales, these two are together in one group. You can group it. Okay, let's do the alignment first. Okay, so you can do your alignment correctly over here. So let's focus on this. Now I have this group where this is the monthly, right? I can say cumulative. Yes, now I can go and update by bookmark. Very easy. I'll be selecting this, and I'm going to hide everything. So I have the monthly bookmarks. So for this, I need to hide the cumulative. So what I'm doing is I'm hiding the narrative for hiding the cumulative, so it will definitely hide whatever objects that I have inserted under this group, right? So what is visible is the monthly visual and the monthly narrative. So now I can go and update the monthly visual. I can make the cumulative visible and update the cumulative. So this is monthly. Let me update it. Make sure this is selected. Okay. Let me get this right. Okay, so now you see over here, so you can switch between these two. This is cumulative and this is monthly. So the related narrative visuals will go along with its own visual that I have assigned. So this way you'll be able to provide your users with whatever navigation they want to do in terms of switching between the cumulative and monthly visual. Right. This is one part of the navigation that I wanted to show. And lastly, let me show you how to create different views on the same page without having to move to different pages on the same report. What you can do, let's say, suppose you are looking at this particular view. The user want to go to a different view, for example, with a different type of visuals and analysis, right? But he wants to keep the filters and the slices over here, whatever selection he has done, you just want him to keep it, right? In that case, you can still use the method I've shown you to switch. So let me just show you an example for you to better understand what I mean. So this button is the button that's for, we'll rename it. This is the reset. Okay, filter. Let it be. So this is the header, filter, and we have trend and other, right? So what we want to do, we can rename these two groups together, right? And let's say this is, we can group them again. I'll say this is overview, for example, right? Now this is the overview, all the objects on this particular view. If I hide it, you don't see any visual, right? So I'm breaking this down by logical blocks, like you have header, filters, then you have the overview, basically what you see now. So I just need to add another view. So let me grab a visual from here. And let me hide this overview and paste it. Let's say I want to look at the geography. For example, let's add, remove, and add the country. Make a copy of this visual and change it to, let's say, a tree map, a decomposition tree. And here I just want to analyze by, let's say, segment, product, and so on, right? So when you have these two visuals over here, user wants to see by different countries. He wants to see the sales by different segment and product and so on, right? So to come to this particular weave, you don't have to create another page. With existing filters, you can make it visible. Let's go and modify what we have done so far. Now, these two visuals have been created. You can rename it as you want. So now these two are called, let's say, we'll group them and bring it down. And I'll call it, let's say, country. Okay, country analysis. So we have two. So we can toggle between these two, right? So we'll create a bookmark. And I'll call these two as weaves. Okay, now what do we have? We have the reset filter, right? This actually is part of the header, so I can simply include it inside this. Done. So I have header, I have the filters over here, then I have different weaves in my report. These weaves are overweave and country currently, right? This is the overweave. I hide both. I make the overweave visible. Then I can hide overweave and make the country visible. So this can be done using bookmarks, right? So let's create a bookmark quickly. Now I click on weave. I'm clicking on the weaves. If you have seen so far, I have never created a bookmark directly on any visual, just on the group, so that later when you include any additional weaves or additional elements, you don't have to worry about changing the structure of this object. So now I just need to create another bookmark over here. So this is basically country, right? Because country is visible. I will just name it as, let's remove data. I just need to retain the data. Right. Okay, update it. Fine. Need another one. So in this case, we need for the overview. Right click, remove data, and selected the visuals. Update. Right. So if you go, okay, let me see. I made a mistake here, maybe. It's overview. Okay, I am on overview. I'm on country. If you forget to click update, you won't get this updated. Okay. Now I go to overview. Okay. This is country, and now this is overview, right? So we'll create a bookmark. To create bookmark, you need to group them, right? We can call them again as right click group. We call them weaves. Now you know what to do. We can insert a bookmark. Navigator. It shows all the bookmarks that I have, but you get the weaves group over here. To change it, now I have a nice button to switch different sort of pages, like it gives you an apps like feel here, right? So I'm looking at country. Now overview, right? See the order, country and overview. So if I want to change it, put overview first, you just need to go to the bookmark and change the order here, right? As easy as that. So overview, country. Now let's do some formatting just to give it a good look and feel. On the formatting, what I can do, let's do something. Now, if you go to any menu or a pane over here, you see a yellow underline highlighting just below what is selected, right? So we'll try to replicate something similar for our page selection. something like you get in our websites and applications, right? For that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this. Shape is fine, style. So I have the option here. By default, I don't need borders. I say this is white. And selected. Let's make it white again. And the text will be, this is what current state is selected. If it is selected, I can give it a darker color. And if it is default, let's give a lighter color. Right? So this way you get your buttons over here. To get that underline that I mentioned, let's make a copy of this. One thing I noted in while doing this, this is recently introduced, the Bookmark Navigator. If I go and turn on interactions, this is something weird. I'm not sure this is going to be removed as this is new. If I select any, let's say, object over here, it's showing filtering options. I don't really understand how the filtering is going to work over here through interaction with a set of buttons. Anyhow, I'll disable it. It may have some unexpected consequences with my reports. So I notice it's happening with my selection with slices. Okay, this is fine. I can just turn on now. So I have this visual over here. Let me copy and paste it. This time, what I'm going to do under visual style, I don't need the text. Fill, for default, it's white. For selected, let me change the color to something prominent. And the shape is okay. Under gender, let's go and change the height is 10 minimum. No, I think it's 12, I believe. Yeah, 12. So now I have this. Now I need to see the layering of this. I have a bookmark which is already created under Weaves, right? Let's bring it out. Let's keep it over here. And let's name it. This I can say underline, for example. This is the Weaves Navigator. I can bring it right under this. Now I'm going to select both of this. Under alignment, let's say left, right. I'm going to select this and bring it down. Now you get a real feel of button switch. Okay, so this way, what I have demonstrated so far is two things. First, I showed you how to apply a background to your report canvas in an effective way, considering performance and the look and feel. Then we had a look at how to create in-page navigation to show only the relevant visuals that the users need to use, right? Now, the other thing that we had a look at was creating different pages within a single page, sort of like different weaves, right? And applying what we learned so far. Okay, I think with this, Gordon, we have come to an end. If you have any questions, I can attend to them.
Fantastic, Fowmy. That was an absolutely great session, going into some good detail there, especially on some of the newer features and functionality as well. We don't have any questions that have come in yet, but please do feel free to ask any further questions on this session. We do have a comment from Joseph, and they've mentioned that it was a really good overview, that they wasn't aware of some of the new features that you've showed, for example, the Bookmark Navigator, but they're definitely going to take a further look into that. I think from the perspective of performance, now when you introduced elements like the Bookmark Navigator and the additional the web-like UI feel, is there any impact on performance by introducing those elements, or does performance in the performance analyzer remain the same?
Right now, like for example, if you go and run the performance analyzer, it's going to capture and show you all what you have. You see the bookmark navigator is already there, right? Definitely, it's going to be there with your along with other objects as well. You cannot stop it, but when you have a chance, when you have an opportunity to use a background instead of a shape, that is where you can save some performance points.
Exactly, and I think that's a great point to point out there, Fowmy. That there are some elements within a Power BI page that you can save performance on, and that others there will be a small trade-off in terms of performance and functionality.
Sure. Yes.
Excellent. Well, it doesn't look like we have any further questions coming in at the moment. And with that being the case, what we will do is I'll go ahead and thank you very much for an excellent session with us again today. We really appreciate your time and expertise. And as we mentioned, there have been some great tidbits of functionality there, including, as you've seen before, the web UI look and feel, and obviously the monthly and the yearly cumulative switch that you had as well was fantastic.
Yeah, last thing, like as you can see, I'm showing the location where they can download the file that I used in my project. It's available. They can visit my website under events. They should be able to find the resources that I use in today's session. Actually, you will get the video recording later. I'll link your YouTube video link once you publish. Also, they can visit under files. They can download the one that I used today. And one more thing, now I also made some cool videos on page navigation on my YouTube channel. If you can subscribe and stay up to date with anything related to Excel and Power BI, this is my channel. I have about 10-15 videos on Power BI. They are really good in terms of creating different page layouts, page navigations, and they can really make use of it, definitely.
Excellent. That's fantastic, Fowmy. We really appreciate that. And as I mentioned, once again, we really appreciate this session that you've gone through for us today and sharing your expertise. And obviously, we appreciate everybody that's attended today's event. So thank you very much. It is our last event of 2021, which has been an interesting year for everybody. But I hope that everybody enjoyed the sessions that we put on this year. And we will be back again in 2022 as soon as next week for some more fantastic sessions to bring you on Microsoft Power BI. Now, this event has been brought to you by the Microsoft Power BI UK user group in association with Onyx Data. And we wish you a safe, prosperous, and of course, healthy 2022 even. And thank you, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you've been here with us. Take care and stay safe.